Okay, we kind of got ahead of ourselves here. One of the things that people probably wanted to see, with all of the other little nitpicky stuff we did, we had these injectors shipped in. They are Bosch Motorsports. They're a high lift, 50 horse, which makes them about the equivalent of a 75 horse injector here. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less. And what we've got going on here is we'll just walk through the steps. So let's take number 6 back here. So we're going to imagine that the number 6 is gone. What we do is we wouldn't have the fuel crossover tube in. We'd start by making sure the injector's clean, the crossover tube's clean, hold down nuts, anything that we're going to stick on the motor, we're going to make sure that that's cleaned and washed up. We're going to go ahead and drop the injector in, and it has a ball that'll kind of center it there, so you can rotate it and then feel when it kind of catches, and then you'll push down on the injector body and it'll kind of click as it drops into place. So then what we do is we go ahead and we tighten these guys down and make sure, but we only tighten them down to 11 feet-pounds, and we do it alternating. That's what I was going to say. Make sure you alternate so that's, because it's like a teeter-totter in there. Make sure it's not cockeyed one way or the other. So we tighten those down equally, going back and forth to 11 feet-pounds, and that kind of sets the injector in there. Actually, scrap that, not 11 feet-pounds. You'll see why I said that. It is 44 inch-pounds. So 44 inch-pounds to seat the injector. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come over, we're going to install the crossover tube, and that guy is going to get a preliminary torque of 11 feet-pounds once we have backed these nuts back off. So we're going to release these nuts after we've torqued it down and kind of seated the injector. We're going to back off them, not till they're all the way out, just till they're loose on both sides. And then we're going to torque this hold down nut to 11 feet-pounds. So after we've got that done, then we're going to leave that torqued at 11 feet-pounds. We're going to come over here and we're going to tighten these guys again, going in steps back up to 89 inch-pounds. That's the final torque value on that, and then this guy gets torqued. So these hold down nuts on the crossover tube right here, not this is for the fuel rail, those guys get torqued down to 44 feet-pounds for the final torque. Now, one thing that I do check, so once we've popped the injectors in, we've done the initial alignment, we've torqued this down to 44 inch-pounds, and we've seated this tube. I usually, because it also has a little alignment stud, and that goes straight up, and they also click into place kind of. You can feel them when they drop in. And I like to wiggle the injector a little bit, back and forth, just like that. And you can see the nose, we'll just come over here. You can see the nose of the crossover tube wiggle back and forth a little bit. And you know that the nose of the crossover tube is seated in your injector at that point, because you're rotating it and it's moving the crossover tube. And then I go through the rest of the pattern that I described there. So that's kind of an overview, and don't worry, we'll catch it on the next build and drop it in here, link to it so that you have the rest of it. But the basic, just running back through it again, everything's clean. You've got it, you've all set up here for your injector install. You're going to go ahead, drop this guy in, and you can put your fuel rail in but not click it. So you line that up. You can see that those bolt heads, they're just about perfectly symmetrical there when it's lined up properly. Click that down into place. You're going to go ahead and, heck, if you want to, you can push that fuel tube in there, and you should see it when we talked about wiggling it back and forth. At that point, once they're clicked in here and this is clicked in here, it should wiggle this guy when you rotate this guy. So we're going to go ahead, tighten those down to 44 inch-pounds, and then back them off. You're going to come over here, you're going to tighten this guy to 11 feet-pounds, and then you're going to come back in here and in steps tighten this down to 89 inch-pounds. I do it in like, 20 inch-pound increments, just whatever is easiest. Just do it evenly back and forth so it doesn't get out of sync on you. And then this guy gets tightened down to 44 feet-pounds. And that is, and then when you're putting your rocker arm back on, the one that sticks over it, that guy goes to, I believe it's 28 feet-pounds for this rocker arm bolt here. So hopefully that's helpful. Give you a little bit of overview with it out of the truck. We did get a little bit anxious, gung-ho. We got these injectors in, and I just went ahead and slammed them in. So I hope that helps you out if you're looking to do an injector install on a common rail Cummins.